The thing is, laziness is often misdiagnosed, sometimes by us and sometimes by other people. Have you ever been told that you're lazy? Have you ever been accused that you're lazy? And sometimes those words can make you start seeing yourself as a lazy person. What makes a lazy person a lazy person? We are going to do a little diagnosis on what laziness is and to actually check if you're lazy. But I promise you, at the end of the day, you'll discover that you're not really lazy. You are just misdiagnosing yourself. We're going to get to the root issue of what we call laziness. Okay, I've been accused as a lazy person, and I'm going to show you that you are lazy based off some parameters. So what exactly is laziness? Okay, oftentimes when we talk about laziness, it comes from, one is a lack of clarity. When you don't have clarity over the things that you want to do, you tend to be lazy. Let me give you an example. Let's say a client reached out to you and they say they want to make a particular project, and because you don't know how to go through delivering that kind of project, you become fatigued, become tired, because you don't know how to go about it, and because you lack clarity over that particular task, you tend to become lazy in some sense. And there are other times where you have a lot of things to do and you become overwhelmed by the tasks that are at hand, and you tend to become lazy. Those are days for me where I have a lot of things to do and I end up not doing anything at all because of the number of tasks that are looming around me. Maybe there are deadlines that are just around and I really need to get my desk cleared. So I end up not doing anything because I'm overwhelmed by the amount of tasks. Now there are days where fear also comes in, whereby you have this judgment over what you want to do, or you have this fear of failure over the things you want to do, and because of that you don't have the boldness and the energy to attack the tasks that you want to do, and you end up acting lazy. Where there are days where you have low energy, maybe the night before you didn't sleep well and you didn't maybe you've not eaten, maybe you're hungry and your energy level is low, or maybe you are going through a hard time, you have an emotional breakdown and your energy level is low. You can also see yourself as a lazy person, and sometimes this is where maybe you're going through a heartbreak and you go to work and you are not putting in your best. People can also term you as a lazy person in those moments, but you can look through that these times you are not really lazy. Okay, there are underlying issues that are making you to act the way you're acting. And the last one is when you're putting in your effort, you're putting in effort into a thing and you are not getting the result. Maybe for years you've been trying a particular skill set to break even and you're not getting the result. Those are days where you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like going to work, and you may be termed as a lazy person, or you can even see yourself as a lazy person, but that is just a surface diagnosis. There are root causes, and these 5 things that I've listed, they are the root causes of what you may term as laziness. At the end of this recording, you will actually discover what laziness is in actual sense without these symptoms that you may be calling laziness. Okay, I've talked about lack of clarity, I've talked about being overwhelmed by tasks, I've talked about fear, I've talked about low energy, and I've talked about no reward or feedback on the things that you're working on. So at the end, some people will also say that when you lack purpose, or maybe you've not found your purpose, you also tend to be lazy. That when you finally find a reason to wake up every morning, that you'll be energized. But that is a fallacy, because even when you are working on your passion and the things that are really meaningful to you, there are days that you really don't want to get off the bed. There are days you really don't want to work on that task. So the saying that you are not lazy, you haven't just found your purpose, is a lie. Okay, because every work, every task out there, even the things that we are passionate about, also require some level of discipline. You may at first see it as, oh, I'm energized. You find a reason behind why you do your thing. That can be energizing, but moment by moment there are days where you also feel like if you didn't sleep the night before, you have low energy. Okay, if you have not eaten, you have low energy. Okay, you may tend to be a lazy person at that moment, but you're not. Okay, maybe from the outside world, people can say, oh, you are lazy, but you're not. Okay, so that is another reason why people can call you a lazy person, but it's actually a lie. So the thing is, real laziness really exists. Okay, when we talk about laziness, it does exist, and this is where you know what to do, you have the ability to do that thing, and you also have the time to do that thing, yet you still choose comfort repeatedly. Okay, in that case, you are actually a lazy person. When you know what to do, you have the ability to do that thing, and you also have the time to do that thing, you are a lazy person. That's not confusion, because we talked about confusion, right? Where you don't know how to do a thing. Maybe you are a freelancer, you just got a gig and you haven't done that kind of work before. You might be a little bit confused and you may see yourself, okay, I'm a lazy person, I really don't know how to do this. But in this case, you have what it takes. You have all the gadgets to film yourself, you have all the gadgets to do the recording, you have all the time to do it, but yet you are not doing it. That is true laziness. But if your laziness, you see that, okay, it's based off these symptoms that I've just listed, then you're not lazy. You just have to deal with the root cause, and we're going to talk about that soon. And then your laziness, or what you so-called laziness, will get off your back. But the question then is, why does comfort win for people who have all what it takes to make a thing happen, yet they are still not doing it because comfort is winning in their life? Why is comfort winning? Okay, so the real problem is that comfort is too rewarding. Okay, our brain generally is wired for comfort. Okay, we don't want to do the thing. There's something they call the theory X and theory Y, whereby they say that the natural man does not want to labor. Okay, we want to have our comfort, we just have the easy life, we want it now, and we want the pleasure of life. Okay, so instead of putting the effort or delaying gratification, we just want it now, and instead of working hard, we want it easy. Okay, so this is why people would prefer scrolling instead of using that at the same time, maybe to make a piece of content or to work on a project they are working on. That instant dopamine of maybe watching a movie, they prefer it than to actually put in the work. Remember, this thing is going to take the same amount of time, but we just prefer the easy one. Now, so work on the other side delays result. Okay, work takes process, and you have to put in the effort to be able to get the result. So comfort always wins, because naturally we want the comfort. Okay, you see a lot of people saying, my goal is that I want to come to a point in my life where I no longer work. Of course, that is the freedom most of us are going for, but at the end, if we allow the little comfort that we're getting now to deter us from working, that dream that we so have and we are so envisioning will not come to pass. So if you guess what, that's why laziness is winning. So not necessarily because you are lazy, but because your environment plus your habits are stronger than your intention. So once you change your environment and you change your habits, your intention is going to follow. So what's actually going on? Okay, so some people are actually having the mix. Some people are undirected, some are overwhelmed, some are afraid, some are undisciplined. So when you put all this together, or maybe when you are having a situation whereby you are experiencing any of these, you tend to think that you are lazy. When you don't have clear direction on what to do on a particular task, when you are overwhelmed with a lot of things, when you are afraid, and when you are undisciplined, yes, and when you are too comfortable, laziness is going to be the result. So the ground truth here is that laziness is just a symptom, okay? Not the root cause. You have to look at the root cause. Even in a situation whereby comfort is the main reason, it's still a root cause. Not that you are lazy, you are just being comfortable. Okay? Not that you are lazy, you are overwhelmed. Not that you are lazy, you are you have low energy. Not that you are lazy, you are afraid. Not that you are lazy, you are you're undirected, you are not clear about the things that you want to do. So how do you actually solve this problem? So we're going to look at each of these symptoms and see the solution to all of it. Okay, the first one, which is lack of clarity, where you are undirected about a particular thing. So instead of saying I don't know what to do, okay, you can just reduce the thinking and try to increase defining what needs to be done. For example, you're a freelancer, you've gotten a gig for the first time, You may not really know how to go through that project, but this is where you can reach out to the client and maybe just ask, what are your expectations? Okay, maybe you want to design something like a flyer. Let them send you a sample so that you can have an idea of what they want. If you're designing a brand identity, ask them for pronoun noun. Say pronoun noun. Ask them for a noun, something like maybe the company is about flying, maybe an airline. You can ask them to send you object of things that are relating to their vision and mission that you can use to present, that you can use to make the logo. These are just where you can get clarity. Clarity comes from asking questions, especially when you're working with clients. And also, if it's your own personal project, ask the question, what are you trying to achieve here? The more you dig into by asking those questions, the more you're going to get clear on one thing and the outcome that you really want to get out of that project. So the second one is being overwhelmed. When you have a lot of tasks at hand, a lot of projects lying on your desk. So what are you going to do? So the problem is there's too much. So what is the cure? Just shrink the task. Break the project into smaller pieces that you can actually work on. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to do 10 tasks today, don't worry about it. You're already lazy, you're feeling lazy. Pick one project and say, no matter what happens today, I'm going to complete this one project. And if that's all you can achieve, you've won. And most times, life just requires you to start. And maybe when you're done with the first project, you see that you now have the energy to move on to the next and to the next. At the end of the day, you end up finishing maybe all or most of the project if you are really focused. So the thing is, when you're overwhelmed, just pick one of those tasks and just finish it. And you can see that from there, you start having energy to move on to the next. Now, let's talk about fear. Fear comes from sometimes judgment, what people say, and sometimes people fear success too. Okay, let's say for example you are being given a task. Maybe you've not gotten a gig before that's going to pay you 6 figure, and you are being given a project that is worth 6 figure. Most persons will take it. They will be afraid, like, I haven't done this before, I'm scared, how can I even deliver on this? This is where what the problem is what if things go wrong? The cure to that is to lower the stake. Okay, just see it as a test. Okay, see it as a trial. See it as, okay, there will be an iteration in the process or at the end. So you just need to show up. Let's say you want to start making content on the internet, but you're really judgmental of how you look and all that. Why don't you just make it? Okay, not everything needs to be shared. Just put it out. You can actually connect the dot here that I really don't like me putting myself out there. So I'm taking a challenge right now to actually film myself every day. I've shown it to some of my friends. A friend of mine like, man, you sound good, but I'm still yet to do that. So I'm keeping it real here. Okay, so lower the stake. Just do it badly on purpose. Okay, you want to start a podcast, record it, don't post it. Okay, just record your first episode. You want to, what else? You want to make YouTube video, record the first video, don't post it. Just have it done, but not with the intention of actually getting the actual result. So that lowers the stake for you. And because you can do it for yourself, you show it to people and the encouragement starts working from there. Okay, you want to go into freelancing, make design. Okay, you don't have to work for client first. Take a design and replicate it. Just make it and put it out there, or just keep it to yourself. By so doing, you are straightening your hand in the design or whatever creative field that you are going into. Then let's talk about low energy. When you are having low energy, what do? Most times it's two ways. Okay, low energy in your body or low energy in your mind. If you're having rough emotional time, you would not really have the energy emotionally to be able to go through the hard time. So the problem then is, I don't feel like it. Or you are hungry, your body hasn't rested, now you feel tired. Now, laziness in that state is tiredness. You're fatigued. So what do? You need rest. You need recreation. You need to rest your body to be able to come back, to be able to deal with that goal that you have at hand. So if you're having low energy and you're feeling lazy, take the nap. Okay, go eat food, go exercise, go for recreation, go on, just jog, do something just to get your energy back. Okay, then we have low reward feedback. You've been doing this thing for a long time and you're not seeing the result. So the problem is, it doesn't feel like it's worth it. It doesn't feel like this is the path you should be pursuing. Okay, here is what you need to do. just create visible progress. This is where most times people will say, oh, I've been working all my life, I've not been getting results. Go to your bank account, withdraw some amount of money, and go get yourself something. Buy yourself maybe a clothes, maybe a shoe, maybe something that can show you that, okay, I'm getting something from this thing. With that alone, you're going to get a boost from that little progress. This is why they say always take care of yourself, especially when you are working. Get something. You've been making a trade, but you've not been getting success from it. You'll be getting success, but you've not been prioritizing spending those money and gain for yourself. So it's not visible. Okay, you can just try as much as you can to make the progress visible, so that you can celebrate those little wins. And also the last one, which is when comfort is now an addiction. You are now too comfortable with life. So the problem there is that you keep choosing easy thing. Okay, so how do you cure that? What's the solution to that? Just change your environment. Okay, because when you move to a new environment, you tend to become more careful. When you change your environment, there's this instant change. Your brain lights up because the environment doesn't look familiar anymore. Let's say you are addicted to scrolling. The best you can do is to delete the app. Okay, delete the app and just create friction. Maybe there's an app that disturbs you. You always want to just go to that app every time. So what you can do is maybe log out every time you're done using it. The friction of logging in again is going to activate your brain, like the environment is no longer the same. Or you can actually just delete the app entirely. Or maybe on your computer you have to create a password to log in. And on the flip side, you have to make the tasks that you need to be working on a little easier. For example, myself, I create templates, Canva templates. So what I did is, I really don't like the friction of trying to open my Chrome browser, going to the website, then wanting to post it. I'll have to get the hashtags and all that. So what I simply did was to create a group tab on my Chrome browser that immediately I click on that group tab, all the website that I need to complete that task open at once. So it can be on both sides. You change your environment, make it harder for the old habit to be difficult to start, then make it easier for the new habit to be easy to start. So that is how you can change your environment, especially your your digital space, your digital environment. Make it harder. Okay, if you know you always on Instagram now, there is this feature that you can only see posts from the people you follow, whereby you can just click on that filter and it's only the people you follow that you're going to see their content. If you don't want the algorithm to hijack you by suggesting other content to you, it's very easy, so that you follow the people, you see the content of the people you are actually following. Okay, that makes it easier. That's for digital space. Then for your physical space, just think a way to make the environment harder for you to get into some loop. Okay, so set the rule and not the mode. Okay, if you're going to say I work at 9 a.m. whether I feel like it or not, that would be a very good rule. Okay, and the last one, which is undisciplined habits. Okay, you start but you don't continue. I think the best result or the best cure for that is the change of identity. Most persons see themselves as lazy people, and there is nothing anybody else can do about it. Because if the mental image and the identity you've created for yourself is that you see yourself as a lazy person, you have to change the identity. An identity can be changed by trying to create new habits. And how do you do that? If you say you are somebody that starts a thing and doesn't finish it, what you can simply do is to pick a little project, start that project and finish that project. Now you have an experience or an identity based off what you have done, based off discipline. Now you can say, oh, I'm not a lazy person because I just finished this project. I started it and I finished it. So I'm a person that starts a project and finish it. Because whatever your identity is because of something you've done in the past. And you can actually just change that identity by creating a new scenario, walking through it, making through it, and now you have a new identity. Then you pick another project and you repeat that identity. Keep repeating that identity. And before you see, you start seeing yourself differently, because now you have a track record of somebody who does a thing and finish it. So the deep truth is this: you don't need one big cure, okay, for laziness. You have to understand the root cause, whenever you feel like you're lazy or somebody tells you you're lazy, look at the root cause and deal with the root cause. I don't think anybody's lazy. People don't just understand the root cause of their laziness. And once you can deal with that root cause, you are good to go, because the root cause leads you to act in lazy ways. And if you can deal with that root cause, you are on your way to fixing your problem. So the simplest system that you can actually employ every day is that when you feel confused, just define the next step that you need to take. If you feel overwhelmed, just shrink the task and pick one and work on it. Okay. And when you feel afraid, just lower the stake. Not everything needs to be published. Not everything needs to come out perfect the way you are thinking about it in your head. And the fourth one is that when you feel low energy, just find a way to rest or reset. Okay. And finally, when you feel too comfortable, just remove the distraction. So that is how you are going to make the real shift. So that's about laziness. If you think you're lazy, let me know. If you know you have the symptom and if you can relate to this, please let me know in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.